Welcome into the DGD Podcast. As always, Robert Reynolds joining me, Dan Kiley. Dan, what's up, buddy?
What's going on, brother? Hope you had a great week. We've had a lot to digest in 1 week, haven't we?
That we have. Obviously, we got a loaded show. We're talking G Day. G Day's finally over. Happened this past Saturday, as you all know. So we're going to break that down. Dogs land to commit, get their class of 2025 quarterback, Ryan Montgomery. And I think the funniest thing could possibly happen, and we'll break it down and we'll explain what that is later in the show. But first things first, guys, I start my morning every morning, by the way, with our friends over at Apatios Roastery, located in Kennesaw, Georgia. Listen, they are the official coffee and cold brew partners of the Classic City Collective. Guys, NIL is a huge thing. And if you go to our website, dgdpodcast.com, and you shop Apatios and you use our code triple C, use that code at checkout, you'll get free shipping on your order, regardless how much you spend, and 20% of every bag of coffee or K cup that you purchase will go to the collective. So make sure you support the dogs, get you some coffee in the process. Best coffee in the business, hands down, no questions asked, and it's not even because they sponsor the show. I guarantee it. That is my personal testimony. Go shop Apatios. Use our website to do it. Triple C at checkout. You'll understand and you'll thank me later. With that being said, G Day in the books. I'm going to ask the question of the night for the chat. Who is your MVP from Saturday? While you're typing your answers, we're going to talk about it. All right. Overall, let's break down overall, and then we'll break it down, Dan. Overall, what were your thoughts on G Day?
Like I told you when we had our show last week, the number one takeaway for me is please come out of the game healthy. And from all indications are we did come away healthy. And the one really good thing is we got to see a lot of young players get a lot of reps. And, they didn't script it to the point where it was a comical game or it just really wasn't a football game. They let the guys play. Now, obviously, we know that it was a little bit vanilla, but we got to see guys moving around. We got to see guys making plays. They gave a lot of guys a lot of different opportunities to do things. Carson Beck even kind of said that in his post-game interview where they were asking him about, finding some connection with Dom Lovett, which, that's one of the guys that you guys brought up last week that you thought would have a really good connection with Carson. And he did, played really, really well. But, Carson talked about how they gave a lot of different guys opportunities to make plays. And that's good. And that's the situation to do it. And then defensively, they rotated a lot of different guys in. We got to see guys play. My biggest takeaway is there wasn't anything glaring, whether it be offensively or defensively. There wasn't something that just jumped off the page to me, other than Michael Williams. I think he really, and he was a talk with everybody. But that's a good thing, and I don't mean that in a negative way. It's just that everybody was so good that not anybody just absolutely glared. And a lot of times when you have a low talented, a roster level where the talent isn't extremely high, you might have one guy that really, really stands out. I thought everybody looked really good, and that's not a cop-out. It's just how I felt.
I will say that, we'll talk more about the pros and cons, but I think I'm going to start off with something that did catch me off guard a little bit, and it was the inconsistency on the deep passes. I really thought that we would see more consistency from Carson Beck there. Now, as we moved into the fourth quarter toward the end, right, you did see some of the reasons why he's got Heisman potential, right? But during throughout the game, you saw these like down the middle, things like that, just things that, now, I mean, it is a spring game, so I'm not going to sit there and harp on it way too much. I'm just not going to do that. But it would have been nice to see, right, the connections from the receivers more consistently on the deep balls. Still threw for 301 yards. It didn't feel like it, though, did it? I think his performance was a little bit hindered by the picks. Guys, those interceptions are freakazoid type picks. Just going to leave that there. Overall, I thought it was a very good performance. Really was impressed to see ETN I think he's going to provide some immediate juice on this offense in a very, very big way. And honestly, with ETN, I was more happy to see his pass protection. I really wanted to see that, and he did just that. Um, we'll start with the defense. What were your takeaways from the defense? Just what I know we talked about Michael, but what were your thoughts from the defensive performance?
A lot of the younger guys, and this isn't necessarily something that I picked up on right away, but if you go through Twitter, there's a lot of different guys that do film breakdowns and stuff like that. Obviously, we know Brooks is one of the guys that we like a lot. But one of the things that I did notice is that a lot of the young players were reading and reacting a lot quicker than they typically do, especially the mid-year guys. That's one of those things where on defense, and it doesn't matter if you're a great defense or a bad defense, it doesn't matter. It's just when you transition levels, you move up to a different level. There is a speed gap that is noticeable. And like, I know that like my first day on a college campus, when I watched people run, I was like, oh my God, like they're faster than everybody in high school. Like every one of them is. And it's just one of those things. But like, if you look at KJ Bolden, he stood out to me defensively because he was reading and reacting. He made two tackles, one on a screen pass and one on an out route to the right, where he made those hits behind the line of scrimmage, or at least right at the line of scrimmage, and drove the receiver back. And that's because he read it, diagnosed, reacted, and then made the play. So it's stuff like that really piqued my interest, is that how quickly Kirby Smart and that defensive staff has these guys catching on. And, that's part of the decisions that they make is when they recruit these guys, are they freak athletes? Absolutely. But, the two things that we've really started to notice is that 99% of them are really good high character guys that don't cause problems in the room. But then more importantly than that, well, maybe not more importantly, but equally as importantly, is they're smart football players. And that is one of the things that I really picked up on watching this defense, is that we have a bunch of smart football players. There wasn't a bunch of stupid penalties. There wasn't a bunch of holds. There wasn't a guys blowing assignments. We didn't see I don't recall, Robert. Maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, and feel free to do so. I don't remember seeing a blown play where somebody was just running down the field wide open. Even if we did miss the throw, I just don't remember seeing somebody running wide open. And in the spring game, that says a lot to me, Robert, that the communication is there. So that was my biggest takeaway, is that there was a lot of young guys on the field playing real football for the first time, or getting significant snaps for the first time. And I didn't see any catastrophic mistakes. That's huge to me.
Yeah, you didn't. I mean, from a secondary perspective, I didn't see a lot of missed blown coverages or anything like that. There was a lot of there wasn't a lot of separation on a lot of those throws. I mean, albeit there was a couple that were, but I think those were just by design to beat zone coverage. I mean, that's just what happens.
Sure.
But overall, I mean, defensively, I was super impressed with how well guys covered. Now, at the same time, would I like to see them make more plays on the ball? Yes. Right. I mean, when we look at, there was a couple, it was more so the one specifically for me was Colby Young's catch over Julian Humphrey. And that's not on him, like, to an extent, because you couldn't have played that any better. So that was just me as well. But when you look back on the defense, I think the defensive line was really impressive too, just based off of the disruption that was that was present, right? All spring, we had heard offensive line. There was, I mean, it was an even split. I think there was a lot of balance between the trenches, really. Michael with the tip and the tip six or tip pick, excuse me. Then you've got you just got a lot of guys moving guys around. I think that's something that Georgia needs to do. There was several batted balls, and take it how you will. But I'm taking it in the sense that that's something that we didn't see a lot of last year. And that's going to be huge for Georgia to do that consistently. And if you do that consistently, you got a hard schedule, you're going to win those games.
Well, I'm so glad that you said something about a defensive line, and that was a huge miss by me, because one of the things that we were concerned about was if they were able to, like, what that defensive line was going to look like. And then if you think about at the University of Georgia, the offensive line has been one of the biggest conversation pieces all spring and all off season. Is that, I understand that we lost SVP and we lost some other guys on the offensive line, but Georgia's offensive line is arguably one of the very best in the country. I'm not talking about like a top 10 or top 15 offensive line. I'm talking about 1, 2, or 3, right? And I mean, maybe I'm a homer. Call me homer if you want to. I don't think I am. I think that's a fair assessment. And I know that offense was all the talk of the spring. And the defense took that personally, specifically the defensive line. And you're exactly right. Michael Williams had a great day. But there was a bunch of other guys that really stood up, played, that I was really impressed with. The kid from South Carolina, was it Leggett? I think that's his. Not the.
No, you're thinking McLeod.
McLeod. The defensive lineman McLeod from South Carolina. He stood out a little bit to me. And then also some of the young guys. Christian Miller had a fairly decent day. He did leave for. I don't know if it was the rest of the day or temporarily. It kind of looked like maybe he popped a shoulder or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. Jordan Hall, all those guys were doing a really good job of making plays and then really, really competing extremely well with that offensive line. I was really, really happy to see that. And like I said, as good as we know and as good as advertised as that offensive line is, for that defensive line to go toe-to-toe and then even possibly you could even say have the better day, that bodes well for that defensive line. Because if you could play that well against that offensive line, then you're going to do well all season long. So I was really, really impressed with the defensive line. I'm so glad that you were able to bring that up. And I guess one of the easier things to do is the secondary. And then how about that damn pick by CJ Allen? Like, we talked about with the tip pick or whatever. That was, listen, I understand that Carson has a little bit of gunslinger on him and he wants to thread the needle, but man, that pick was, I have a hard time saying that's a bad pick by Carson Beck. I have an easy time saying that was just one hell of a tremendous interception by CJ Allen. And listen, if that kid just we had an all-conference linebacker that had to leave because he got forced out by a young kid, and he's not here making plays. Robert, you're right. The defense had a good day.
You know what, too? Well, you're 100% right. I was super impressed with the offensive line and the consistency there. For the most part, they protected very well, and the freshman is what really stood out to me.
The freshman on the offensive line, you said?
Absolutely.
Which one are you talking about specifically?
I liked Uni. His athleticism out in space is stupid.
Was he on the red squad or the black squad? The
black. He was black. He was team black.
See, like that's one of the things that I struggle with, and like I had an old teacher say, "Know what you know what you don't." And I'm not the greatest in the world at dissecting offensive line play. I leave stuff like that to Brooks, who's fantastic at breaking down offensive line play. He can tell me kick slides, twist, and like all this other stuff. But I'm terrible. Keon, what's up, brother? Good to see you.
What's going on, guys? How are y'all?
Great. We're just
we're doing pretty good.
Talking about O-line versus D-line in the spring game. What did you see?
I saw our D-line be disruptive. I saw it in between the guards, really. Not to say that the guys outside weren't getting pressure, but really I saw a lot of the havoc happen in between the tackles. Not gonna lie to you, man. I think we're about to have a hellacious defense this year. And Mikael Williams, he's for sure gonna be punching on people this year. I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think Mikael Williams is in store for or just primed for a massive season. And then, we were just talking about some of the other rotation guys on the defensive line. How, we didn't have TID, if I'm not mistaken, right? He was out for the spring, and then wasn't there another defensive lineman that was out, or is it just TID?
I think it was just TID.
Yeah, but the point being is that we had some younger guys in there taking reps, and I had a hard time distinguishing between the new guys and the old guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody looked real good. And, like right before you joined, Keon, we were just talking about that if you're a defensive line and you can hang with that offensive line, because like I said, I feel like that offensive line is 1, 2, 3 in the country. And if you're having a good day against that group, that you're going to be damn good.
Yeah, with the defensive line, I was actually thoroughly impressed with Gabe Harris. We haven't talked much about the edge play. Um, Gabe Harris looked like the best player on that defense at times. Had himself a drive in actuality where it was just insane.
Absolutely. Like I said, I think a lot of the young guys are going to be very much so disruptive. A couple of things I saw really just from the secondary that really stood out to me. Uh, KJ Bolden is a lot faster than what I thought. Thought he was going to come in fast, but holy shit.
That closing
Slight
speed and
mistake.
tackling strength.
I'm gonna tell you this. I mean, there was a few plays out there where I feel like he made a slight mistakes, but that closing speed is something else when it comes to him. So, quickly able to course correct those mistakes and be able to make different tackles for us.
I was happy. Oh, go ahead, Dan. Go ahead.
I was just going to piggyback on him. One of the biggest things with or KJ Bolden, sorry, Keon. One of the things about KJ Bolden is, I got to see him multiple times over the last couple of years because he plays less than a mile away from here. But his size, like I thought he was going to go into college and be a little bit undersized and have to really add weight. He added that weight extremely quickly. And then to your point, he has not lost that speed and explosiveness, and he fit in. Like, one of the things I was talking to my wife about while we were watching the GDA game is I said, I love watching the Meteor guys, right? Because if you look at the guys who have been there on campus, they fill out those uniforms, and you know what I'm talking about. They look like the guys when they get off the bus, you're like, damn, they look like Spartan warriors.
Those are those first off the bus type guys.
Yeah. But like the younger guys, the Meteor guys, it's like the uniform's a little bit baggy on them. They don't pull in all the right areas, and they got some room in the arms for your arms to fill in. KJ didn't look that way. He filled that uniform out extremely well. So I was impressed. You're right. KJ, like we talked about him right at the start of the show. KJ jumped off the page to me just a little bit.
Yeah, I was thoroughly impressed with his tackling strength too, because he took Riddell for a ride, if you remember that. On that third down stop, if I'm not mistaken. Just plays like that. Speaking of stops, even though it wasn't technically a stop, he got a first down. Roderick Robinson getting thrown around by Michael was something to see. Kind of thought about it afterwards, but like it looked super impressive. But the problem was it threw him for the first technically, but the fact that he got thrown around at 240 pounds was that was interesting. Very
that just goes to show you these guys' strength, honestly. Boy, I'm telling you, like I keep saying, we're gonna have a hellacious defense this year.
Yeah, there was some talk about that. There's a lot of, listen, it's this talking season, right? I mean, it's all season, but there's a lot of people that are out. Yeah, there's a lot of people out there that are saying this defense has the chance to be one of the best Georgia's ever had, and right there with. But they said that last year too, that it was going to be the fastest defense we've ever had. I was a little bit underwhelmed with our defense last year, but we were so damn good last year. We're just really spoiled. I mean, we're at that point now where we're comparing.
We really are.
We're comparing great to great. It's hard to dissect these different defenses because they're so damn good. They're just so damn good.
Yeah, it's real Bugatti versus Ferrari problems that we have going on here.
But I
don't want to take either one of those. We're going to take the AMG today. So it's like, I think our fan base needs to understand that.
I'm a cheapskate. I'm a cheapskate going Honda.
Yeah, you can go Honda.
Old Faithful.
There it is. But that's something that we be on Twitter Spaces often talking to our fan base. I'm telling you. But we be on Twitter Spaces talking to our fan base often, and I think that's something that we have to constantly remind our fan base. Like for the most part, we are arguing about the richest of rich people problems. Do we want to take the 757, or are we just gonna do the 6-seater for the PJ? Like, these are real expensive problems, and I think a lot of people need to understand that.
You're 100% right, and like you said, it's Bugatti versus Ferrari problems, and like everybody talking about Georgia's defense was going to be super fast last year. I feel like this defense is every bit as fast. Like we were talking about, these young guys are having, just they are showing up on campus and just melding into this defense so quickly that you have a hard time identifying which ones are the new ones. And that's one of the things as I get older is these guys come in and go out so fast. They're here, they're gone tomorrow. That it's kind of like it's almost getting almost as bad as college basketball, where you have a hard time remembering who's where. You're looking like which one, where was there, like, is that, no, that's not him. There he is. Okay. Yeah. There's the freshman. And that's a great problem for Georgia to have, because these other rosters, who the freshmen are, because they stand out. They don't look like they're ready. And our guys show up ready. And that's just incredible.
I'll tell you one that we haven't said just yet either, guys. That's JJA. Jonye. Oh, buddy.
Oh, buddy.
I was surprised. What I liked about Jonye was his pursuit. I thought he did very well. I mean, I thought he did very well maneuvering off the line of scrimmage too. But the play that stood out to me was when he chased down, was it Sokovie? I think it was. May have chased down Sokovie from behind and ankle tackled. He missed him first time and then got him. Got him from behind. Keon going sideways.
I have no idea what I did.
We're gonna let you figure this out.
Yeah, keep talking. Don't get seasick over here.
Oh boy,
this is too funny.
Yeah, see,
this is what it pays to watch the show.
Yeah, slight technical difficulties.
Slight keyword.
We're 25 minutes into this, and we have not even really talked about the offense at all. I mean, so I think that's the biggest takeaway for me is that defense had one hell of a day, because
they did.
All the talk all spring was about the offense. But like, I don't know about you, Robert, but I do want to talk a little bit about the offense, because one of the things that I wanted to see was Colby Young.
Yeah, and this is messing me up. I'm getting dizzy. I'm looking at myself.
Just jump back out and come back in. You'll figure it out.
Yeah,
I think so.
You can play with your camera. All right. So one of the things that I wanted to see was Colby Young. We had heard some stuff about him. He didn't have the biggest eye-popping numbers coming out of Miami, but that can be explained. They didn't have a great quarterback. They didn't have a great offensive team. We needed somebody on the outside that could make some plays, especially around the end zone. And I saw a comparison to oh gosh, my brain just went blank. I had it. It was right there. The guy who went
Lawrence Cager?
Yes, Cager. Just talking about he was kind of like a bigger guy, came in and gave us a jump ball threat down by the end zone. And we saw that they were willing to do that. So I was extremely excited to see him get worked into the offense and make plays. Did he light the world on fire? I don't think you could say that. I think the guy who did do that would be Don Blaylock, or not Don Blaylock. You know what I'm talking about. Don Lovett. Sorry, I'm stupid sometimes. But I really, really like Ra Thomas. I'm not saying he had a better day. Obviously, we know Dom had the better day, but I am a really big fan of Ra Thomas. I think he's going to be a big part of this offense, and I was extremely happy to see Colby Young get factored in. And we knew they were going to throw the shit out the ball, because Kirby doesn't like to run the ball during spring, because you can get people hurt running the football. And if you go look at the carries, Roderick Robinson had 11 carries. Nobody else was over 5. Nobody else was over 5. So
I'll tell you what, though, nobody else was over 5, but ETN made the most out of them down less than 5. The juice, like I said, that juice that man had between the tackles was something fun to watch. My man, is this who I think it is? I know that who I think it is. Favorite breakout receiver of the day, and it cannot be Dom or Rara. That was a good question.
Arian Smith.
Anthony Evans.
Scovie White.
Him too.
All three are good options. All three.
I'm gonna go with Anthony Evans and Arian Smith.
Look at that. Look,
it's gonna be a twofer.
Just what? No. Pineapples.
Twofer.
No.
Twofer.
I'm a big fan of Anthony Evans. Like, he came out of nowhere for me last year, and I remember in our group chat that we have, not with you guys, but with Jonathan, Jeremiah, and everybody, He made that. Was it the punt return? Was that like the first?
Mhm.
I was like, who the F is that? And he's like, oh, they're like, oh, that's the freshman Anthony Evans. I'm like, why is he not playing more? So yeah, I'm a big fan of that. Can I get a Dan Rand of the
is
week?
that?
No, you cannot.
Oh, we might have something in store for you. We'll see. We'll see.
Actually,
Can't-
yeah, let's do that. Let's get into the Dan Rand
See,
of the week.
So
No, I don't.
we got see
I don't have one
Dan,
right now.
Dan. See, the fun thing about it is we got Dan rant, you got Reynolds rants. Like,
Mhm.
listen, Reynolds rants, boy, they get a little bit nasty. Like it gets. I'll let people know, no holding back. But no, we'll see what happens. No, offensively though, man. You know who's somebody that probably you're not thinking of, and Xavier Truss
Mhm.
actually played well. More so in run support, which was kind of shocking to me too, which was a pleasant surprise. Still think you're going to have a situation where Freeling can easily take. I wouldn't say easily, could take Truss's spot, but Truss did well. I thought he did well, especially against that D line. I mean, the D line was disruptive, so he held his own there. I'm looking at it in the sense of like, we'll have to see what happens during the season, but that was a good sign to me. Also, I think the best D line of the day, or all offensive line of the day, I genuinely think Dylan Fairchild had the best day of offensive line, but he was just moving people
Out the way.
out the way.
Yeah, definitely played the bouncer role, taking people and getting them the hell up out the club. Like he exit stage left or right. Matter of fact,
He just said, get the fuck up out the club.
right. That's it.
I got J Will in the building. Seed Vision in the building. Kobe. Seed Vision says Colby Young will be a DGD before the season ends.
100% agree.
I just think you got it. I think you have to utilize him in mismatch. Find mismatches and utilize it. And I think that's going to come with confidence from Carson Beck and chemistry. What we saw at G Day, I thought there was potential. Right. I mean, we kind of knew they were just slinging the ball around. You know what I mean? When it comes time for the season, right, we know we're going to rotate. How much we'll see, but I hope he makes the most of the opportunities that he gets. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, you were talking about guys that had the best days on the offensive line. I think it's probably going to be overlooked because there really wasn't a transition. But we can make an argument that the most valuable player on this offensive line in the last couple of years has been Cedric Van Pran. And did anybody notice him gone? No, because what's his name? Wilson, right?
Jerry Wilson.
Yeah.
Now
athlete.
He to me, and again, I've told you, know what you know what you don't. I don't claim to be an offensive line savant. But my biggest takeaway was I didn't remember a bad snap.
Nope.
You laugh at that shit, but Ohio State ain't laughing at bad snaps, are they?
Well, now they are.
Bama.
No, right?
So Ohio State might be not laughing anymore. Bama probably is because they let him go.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't remember a bad snap. The offensive line communication, just from a perspective of somebody watching the game, looked like it was very smooth. I was extremely impressed with Wilson at playing center. And I think the greatest compliment I can give him is that it was not a glaring change. And I know there will be times this year. I am not stupid. I understand that there will be times where, because we don't have Cedric Van Pran, we're not going to be as good at that spot on one particular day. But I think Wilson stepped in and did a remarkable job, and I think that has to be said.
I'm going to play a little bit of a devil's advocate.
Okay.
He did very well. Right, I'm not going to discredit. I think Jalen Walker forced him into a negative situation, got a hold. I don't know if you remember that, cutting across his face and ended up beating him to the point. But other than that, I think we have to keep in mind that the defense wasn't doing anything like super extravagant, right? You're not showing your hands, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying he did bad. He did very well. I'm curious to see where that mental gap, how far that mental gap between Cedric and Jared is, because once you start looking at Clemson, Clemson's got a good defensive line, guys. Listen, they might have a shitty offensive line. They might have other things. You could take it or leave it, however you want to talk about it. Defensively, I think they're okay for sure, and that's our week one opponent, and it's going to be interesting once you start seeing these, intricate type defenses where you have, wraps and stunts, all these different things, how he's going to process that in real time. As of G-Day, I like what I saw. The mic identifications, right, seemed to be on point. Wasn't really a lot of missed calls that I saw, things like that. That's huge for the development on that offensive line. Absolutely huge.
I think another thing that you have to consider is that he's not alone. He's not in a room full of new guys. He's in a room full of veteran guys who've got a lot of quality football under their belt. He's got Stacey Searles as the offensive line coach. Now, listen, the last go-round of Stacey Searles being here wasn't as great, right? But the foundation has been laid. That room has been built. And it seems to me like he's really on board and doing a really good job with the offensive line. I've not heard a single complaint come out of that building or anywhere around that the offensive line play has fallen off. I haven't heard any of that. So I think there's a huge advantage of being in that room because he was in the room last year. It's not like he just showed up today. So he was been around Cedric Van Pran. And, I think one of the second greatest thing is that Cedric Van Pran came out and he had a lot of really good things to say about Wilson as well. So, and he felt like he could be better now. Now, I guess that's what you're supposed to say, right? As a player, like the next guy could be better than me. That's what a good teammate says.
Partially, yeah.
There's probably some lip service to that, but I'll be what Cedric Van Pran ain't gonna say that about some scrub though. He ain't gonna say that about no scrub.
Yeah, Jay Will has a good point here also, saying that Carson Beck being behind center helps Wilson out as well. I think they help each other out, but yeah, I agree with Jay Will there 100%. Just having command of the offense, right? Like I genuinely think that that's what's going to happen. Also, like you mentioned, Tate Ratledge. Tate took some snaps at center as well. So I think having him there is super. Yeah, you didn't hear it, see it?
I didn't pay attention like that.
But yeah, I do think with Jared, I think he's talented, man. I think he's a
freaky athlete.
Yeah, man, that's really what sticks out to me. So I'm excited to see how this is going to go. I mean, for the most part, our guys, we have to keep in mind that they're not going to really see the competition that they're seeing in practice. They're not going to see that in a game for the most part.
No, not for the most part. All right, we'll wrap up G-Day with our final thoughts and then our MVP of G-Day. Keon, I'll let you start. What are your final thoughts as we finish up the G-Day portion?
Defense is going to be hunting completely. We're going to punch on quarterbacks this year, so expect that, Georgia fans. Offense, expect the offense to be super aggressive and dynamic. Our running game this year with our current running backs that we got, it's going to get crazy. Also want to take the time to say I wish Andrew Paul the absolute best no matter where he goes. We're rooting for your success here at the DGD Podcast. Best of luck to you. Always DGD. Go Dogs. But yeah, man, it's very, very much so dynamic on the offense. Bobo's going to have fun with this one.
Go ahead.
I was just going to echo a lot of what Keon just said. Is the defense looks really, really good, which is going to allow the offense to be as aggressive as they want to be. They don't have to worry about protecting the defense. The defense doesn't have to worry about protecting the offense. This is a great unit, hand in hand. And for me, my biggest takeaway, the MVP for me, and this isn't going to make sense until you hear what I have to say. The MVP of the game is Gunnar Stockton because he is a guy that needed to have a great day. He needed to have a great day. Georgia needed him to have a great day. And he looked really, really good. Like, were there some mistakes that he make? I'm sure he did. Yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of things to figure out. But he looked like he could step in a game, take control of the offense, and get us to the finish line, at least of that day, if he had to. And I think that was very important for everybody to see it. So for me, he's the MVP because he had to have a good day, and he had a good day.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. If I had to, I'm gonna do my 2 takeaways. First thing, them dogs gonna hunt.
Always.
and it's not even just the first string. It's deep, man. It's deep. I mean, you could literally go. I mean, D line. I think it starts at the D line, right? But then we ain't even talk about the linebackers. I know we talked about C.J. Allen, but guys, Justin Williams, Chris Cole, massive individuals, massive, dude. I don't know if y'all remember the play. Chris Cole really stood out to me when he tipped that pass right after Michael. If you remember that, just making that kind of play on the ball, that was just freaky. And then obviously Jalen Walker looked good. Like linebackers are nasty. We are so deep. And the secondary, I thought did fine. Yeah, that's just where I'm at. I mean, obviously I wish I would have seen more plays on the ball, but you were in position most of the time.
All right, Harrison, this is for you. I come on here to watch some football talk. Y'all talking about Georgia this whole time, and you know Alabama, they have their Roll Tide spring game on Saturday. Y'all ain't said nothing about this Alabama. Look, listen, I know we got them DeBoers or whatever his name is, his new coach, but Saban's still in the building. He still got his parking spot, and it's Roll Tide, baby. Ain't nothing changed. Ain't nothing changed. It's Roll Tide. Roll Tide.
Yeah. You know what's funny? We know a couple of Twitter users that sound just like that out of that.
You hear Mike?
You hear Mike? Oh my god!
That was for you, Harrison.
I'm just saying. For the next 3 to 4 years, I'll be taking my talents too. Bama baby, Bama baby.
Man,
Jesus Christ. All right, guys, MVP is a G-Day. Who's your MVP?
Well,
everybody jump at once.
You know mine. I said I felt like mine was Gunnar Stockton because he had to have a good day. Georgia needed him to have a good day, and he did.
Gunnar Stockton okay. Got Gunnar Stockton on the board.
I would say mine would actually be Roderick Robinson. I felt like he really took some steps, showed us his explosiveness, his ability to not only jump step, but also read the offense, read the line. You got to hold a certain spot, you hit it, you go. I felt like Trevor Etienne would have been too easy of an option. But, yeah.
See, y'all went offense. Give me defense. I'm going defensive side of the ball. Give me Mike Hill. But at the same time, I had another thought about this, though, too. One could argue Gabe Harris because Buddy played hard as shit. He played harder than most everybody on that field when he was on the field.
Yeah.
Consistently.
Yeah.
Consistently. I would go Michael, but I think Gabe Harris deserves recognition for some of that, too. That's a definite call for me on that one, too.
Did we talk about the fact that we got brand new bushes, brand new hedges, brand new hedges,
the baby hedges?
Hold on. We're gonna end
baby
on this.
Groot?
No, it ain't even that. I want you to understand this. We're gonna leave G-Day on this note right here. The grounds crew's probably pissed off right now because they had to replace that fence.
Bro, I mean,
boy, that shit
love it, man. I mean, I remember watching that play, and I was like, "Well, there goes the fence. Oh, there goes the hedges."
Yeah,
it looked like
crazy.
Looked like a scene out of just a firefight, man. Just
okay. Look, F the hedges, F the fence. How the hell did he catch that football?
I don't know.
I
really don't.
It's almost like the ball went through the dude's waist. Like, how the hell did he catch that football? Like, because
actually because it wasn't on his back. It was in like in the side of his arm.
Yeah.
Like it slid through. So whatever that happened, that was a dot.
Yeah, and like
dot.
I was like, "There's no way he caught that." I'm like, "Is Kirby gonna make him challenge a damn catch in the spring game?" I don't know if he will, but then they showed the replay like 3 or 4 times. Keon, what's your take? Because I think if they replayed it, he caught the damn ball.
Yeah, he caught it. Caught it, and then the hedges caught him.
Yeah.
No, they tried. They tried.
Yeah, they did try.
They're not strong. They're not strong. Nah, that fence barely did. Anyways, enough of the. We're leaving G-Day on the busted fence.
Bye, G-Day.
Bye, G-Day. Yeah, it's a good call.
Bye, G-Day.
Let's do this second sponsor of the night, guys. You see this shirt right here, boys? I'm just gonna let you know. If you don't know where I got it, right? Take a guess.
Would that be Alumni Hall?
Absolutely. DGDpodcast.com. Go to our website and shop Alumni Hall using our website. It has to do this. If you go to our website and you shop Alumni Hall, when you do that and you place an order online, 8% we will send to the Classic City Collective. Make sure, but it has to you have to go through our website to do it. That's our way of supporting the collective as well. So you can get yourself some licensed Nike, Cutter and Buck, Champion if you like Champion. Hey, it is what it is. Get yourself geared up for game day. Alumni Hall is the way to do it. And like I said, DGDpodcast.com, shop Alumni Hall, place your order online, and we'll support the collective for you. So make sure you do that. Hop on that, guys. I'll pull it back up for you as well.
It's that easy. Support.
It is. It is that easy.
Collective and Alumni Hall.
Yep. 10 minutes away from Athens and Sanford Stadium, by the way. Go follow them on social media at Alumni Hall UGA. Now, Keon, you talked about Andrew Paul hitting the portal. There's been a couple portal entries since. You got Braxton Hicks hit the portal. I feel like I'm missing somebody, but I don't know. Andrew Paul, Braxton Hicks. It's been quiet for Georgia thus far in this portal window. But, all right, guys, I got to ask you this question. While we're on this topic, do we talk portal or do we talk new commit? Which one?
I think let's go new commit because that's something we know, and then portal we can really dive into.
All right, let's do it. All right, guys. Ryan Montgomery, 2025 quarterback. Whoa, hold on. Wait a minute. So you're saying that Georgia did not get Juju Lewis, and you didn't get Zollers. The world's coming to an end.
Yep.
Oh no.
It's over.
Oh no.
It's over. Sky is falling.
Bro's 6'4", 215. Got a really good arm. He could throw. Listen, when your team is as talented as Georgia's is, and you have a guy like that, like you're gonna be just fine. Like oh shit, Keon, you did it.
Sit sideways. Boys in the day sit sideways.
I listen. Georgia has a really good idea of what they want to do at quarterback, and I heard this the other day, or not the other day. I heard this a long time ago. Is Kirby has an idea of what a quarterback looks like, and it ain't Stetson Bennett. It ain't never been Stetson Bennett. So for Stetson Bennett to actually rip off probably 2 of the greatest years in the history of Georgia football, absolutely says something about how damn good Stetson Bennett was, because Kirby has an idea of what a linebacker or what a quarterback looks like. And in Kirby's mind, a quarterback is 6'4", 6'5", 215, 220. That's what they look like. Go look at every quarterback on his damn roster other than Gunnar Stockton, who, I didn't know if he translated to Georgia, but we're about to damn find out. But look at Brock. Yep. Look at Brock's size. Look at Beck's size. Look at Montgomery's size. JT.
Even JT back in the day.
Big dude. I mean, like, even DeJuan Mathis is not a little guy. Like, Kirby has an idea of what a quarterback looks like, and it ain't Stetson Bennett. It damn sure is Ryan Montgomery. He does look like Ryan Montgomery.
I'm not gonna touch my laptop because anything I press, we go sideways. So
I feel like Paul Wall at some point.
That's it.
I ain't gonna be
it. It always goes sideways. Can't touch the laptop. Don't know what I'm doing that's causing it to turn, for things to go sideways. They just do. So I'm all the way hands off.
Which way did it go, George? Which way did it go, George?
I mean, I press one button, here go oh, and then boom.
Oh, by the way, just think about this. All right, just think about this. You've got Carson Beck this year. Excuse me, you got Carson Beck. You've got Gunnar Stockton, Puglisi. You bring in Ryan Montgomery. That quarterback room, folks.
White men are dangerous. No one is to go near them.
Yeah. Yeah. These white men are dangerous. So accurate. So accurate.
Quarterback room looking like a lacrosse team. Gotta love it.
I need to ask y'all's opinion on this. Does he get extra points for the live dog?
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
Now hold on before you start.
Well, wait a second. Is the dog his?
The thing was, it wasn't a pure white bulldog. It was brown, right?
Okay, time out. Our best bulldog in the last couple of years was not a all white.
No, I know.
Q had some brown on his ass. So
no, we ain't talking about that kind of brown, right?
No, hey, listen, Q has some brown on his fur, and Q rocked the shit out of that spot. So I'm down with it. You ain't got to be all white to be all right with me.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh
yeah,
man,
I went there.
I mean, fair enough. I ain't gonna lie. I thought you were drinking out of a Stanley cup for a second.
Hell no, this is an Arctic cup. My daughter has my daughter is the basic white girl with the Stanley cup, but not me. I ain't drinking.
I was about to call you.
Falls and it sounds like a bomb just went off right next to you. Yeah,
you ruined it. I was gonna call you the basic bitch of the show, but can't do that today. Can't do it.
Oh man,
can't do it.
Nah. She dropped that thing one time in the cafeteria, and everybody's stopping what they're doing.
Sound like Chicago at 2 a.m.
Bro, I swear to God. What happened? Sorry.
Nah, the problem is it hit the ground and start rolling around.
Yeah, no, that's it.
Oh man. Anyways, yeah, I think Montgomery's gonna be good, man. And what I think first off, his mentality is what I want for any commit. It's just he wants to be a Georgia Bulldog, and it starts there. In today's world of recruiting, it's so easy to look at NIL. It's so easy, right? The loyalty field has gone, for the most part. So to hear that and say, he wanted to be a Georgia Bulldog. Like, it didn't take long for him to, once they gave him the green light, I'm a dog, boom, done. Let's go. Speed it up. Let's go. And he's already doing recruiting. He's on social media recruiting guys to come to Georgia. That matters to me. That matters to me a lot.
Well, and it does, because it's twofold, right? It's that obviously you want a guy who wants to be here, right? But then the other part of it is that if you really want to be here, if that's something that you really, really want, then you're going to stick it out. When things aren't easy, when things aren't tough, when you don't feel like it's going to be right there for you, you're going to stick it out. And that's one of the things that you talk about, like kid like with Gunnar Stockton. Like, Gunnar Stockton wanted to be a Georgia Bulldog. He always wanted to be a Georgia Bulldog. Now, he was going to go to South Carolina because of relationships, right? But he wanted to be a Georgia Bulldog. It would have been very, very easy on the recruiting trail to talk Gunnar Stockton out of going to Georgia, because he doesn't fit anything that Georgia does, other than maybe he's like, hey, you're Stetson size, and he's ripping it up right now. But he doesn't fit the traditional mold of what Kirby wants at a quarterback. And, they're like, oh, that room is stacked. You're never going to play. But he was here, and he didn't go anywhere. Now, to me, that means something, like that you want to be here. I think in today's climate, with everything that's going on, wanting to be here has to be 90% of the decision for me as a coach. Like, if I'm going to take a kid, you got to prove to me that you want to be here, because if you don't, it's going to be really easy for you to walk out the door, and then you're going to leave me shorthanded.
Well, yeah, I mean, especially with quarterback position too, man, because like a lot of
only one place.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm keenly aware of how the quarterback position works, because like only one place. I mean, my son's a quarterback. I get it. Like, you're shit out of luck.
What grade is he in?
He's a sophomore. He's 2026.
Okay.
But he's playing behind a four-star
You've
quarterback.
got my attention. You've got my attention.
He's playing behind a four-star quarterback. So, like,
Well, he at Mill Creek, right?
yeah. So it doesn't matter. Like, it
Whoa.
don't matter. Like, Cannon's gonna play 1 year. It is what it is.
Make the most of it.
Yeah. But
Make the most of it.
so it's the hardest thing in the world to be a quarterback because they don't rotate 6 of you in the game. It's 1 of you.
Well, then you got to. I mean, the thing about it too is like you've got to be able to win the locker room and have the trust behind you as well. That's like I've seen situations where the starting quarterback per se doesn't necessarily own the locker room and demand that kind of respect, whereas another quarterback can. You know what I mean?
It's different in high school.
No, 100%, 100%. So you start to look at that right there, but at the same time, right? Like, look at Stetson. Like, if you want to kind of just convert it to a Georgia perspective, it's not nothing against the other guys, but Stetson just, he stepped up.
Took the room.
Yeah, he did, and I think it showed.
Jake Fromm took the room from Jacob Eason. He took it.
Yeah,
he took it. I mean, he took the damn room, and they couldn't give the job back to Jacob Eason.
And he couldn't give it to Justin Fields either if you wanted to be like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went there. Yeah.
No,
say something
in
the comments.
Yeah, I do. Man, I'm just happy we got a quarterback.
I think we can let go of that Juju news, man. Like at this
bro,
point,
I'm the biggest reason why I'm happy that we have a quarterback is so that we can fully kill the Juju news. And to me, now it's all about these wide receivers. James Coley, go bring them. Bring them through. Come on. All of these elite guys. Come on.
Hey, when's the last time we got an elite wide receiver?
Pickens.
But he wasn't though. Was he?
Yeah, he was. He was 5-star.
Yeah,
he was.
Oh, was he? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But he was an
Auburn. Yeah, he was an Auburn commit until signing day. But still, I mean, you got him. That's what I mean.
All right.
I would have liked to have that kid at Ohio State. God Almighty, was it Jeremiah Smith?
Jeremiah Smith, yeah.
Holy shit!
I don't know if we haven't talked about this, but at least with you, yeah. I don't know if you saw the 707 with him versus Ellis.
Yeah.
Well, that shit was dirty. That was elite rep on elite rep after elite rep. That was nasty.
I want some.
And then Ellis followed him too.
No, Ellis didn't go off of him at all. Yeah, but that's for another story there.
We're gonna hit that portal.
No, I don't know, dude. If you got
I'm saying let's hit that portal news.
Oh, not yet. Still got to talk about this. I think with the Juju news, man, like a lot of Georgia fans don't fall into this trap of you're not getting Juju. And that means that the elite generational talent left your state. Don't buy that shit. Please don't. The reason why I say that is this. Georgia's recipe for success at the quarterback position has not always reverted to a 5-star quarterback. Just hasn't. Not saying anything bad about Juju or whatnot, right? Like, if Georgia would have got him, I would be ecstatic. Kid's elite talent. But Stetson Bennett was a walk-on, and he won you your 2 titles. Like, you had defense around you. You had personnel at all positions, deep position groups, by the way. You win a game that way. Is it really in Georgia's recipe? Because look at the 5 stars since Kirby got here. Eason, right? Fields, JT Daniels. Well, you could argue Brock was a 5-star at one point.
I think JT would have worked. I'm not saying I'm not going to start that argument. I'm just saying I think JT could have worked. I just don't think because. So here's Robert. I'm going to piggyback on with your conversation. Right, you're talking about 5-star hasn't been the success. Okay, here's the biggest issue is that most, not all, most 5-star quarterbacks are big talents that want to make big plays. Right, most of them don't want to. Meld into the offense and just execute. They want to make the big plays. They want to stand out. JT Daniels to me always seemed like the guy that would do what you asked him to do. I could be 100% wrong, but that's the reason. Like what Justin Fields. Well, Justin Fields' issues were more than that, but like these other guys, like Jacob Eason, he wanted to go over the top all the time, and make the big plays. Stetson Bennett didn't have the ability to do that. We found out Stetson Bennett had a great arm, and as he got a little bit of leash towards the, that leash got longer as he started to really take hold of that job. There were throws that he would make that would piss us all off, right? Because he's like
he'd put it into a location that made no sense.
Oh yeah, he's like, I'll put this fucker in the size of a hole that big, and just but that's what elite quarterbacks want to do, and I think that's why in this offense it's not going to work, because Kirby Smart will break your ass in half if you risk the football. So
if you put the ball in risk, you're not going to play too much.
100%. So look, Juju Lewis is a great quarterback. Seen him play many times. Been around him. Been on the same field as him. Did some FBU stuff a long time ago, way before he was like the real Juju. That kid's special. 100%. I get it, but Juju wants to be Patrick Mahomes. Juju doesn't want to be Brock Purdy. The end.
Right.
There's how you go about it. Anyways, now I think we're still in this. We'll talk portal talk now, and this is where this gets fun. And I know Keon's excited about this too. Keon, Georgia has an opportunity to do something very fun and ironic at the same time. How about you tell the audience what we're talking about?
We have the opportunity to get the commitment of one former Florida commit, Jaden Rashada. Now, what makes all of this hilarious is he's an actual need. This isn't one of those, oh, we're just taking him so you can't have him. We need another quarterback, because Kirby likes to have 4 quarterbacks. With Kirby wanting 4 quarterbacks, we currently have 3. Got to go grab somebody. He's on the way.
What better way to do it than to take – listen, I think this story becomes –
you got Chauncey Bowens. You took Trevor Etienne right off the roster. You got who was another one? Nazir Johnson right out of the recruiting class. What would feel even better than that? Let's go get a quarterback that they wanted.
Knowing the backstory is what makes this story so fun. It just does. Rashada, right, ends up going to Arizona State after a failed NIL deal, basically, with Florida. All right, so I think the number was like someone said like $13 million, which sounds asinine, but either way, that fell through. He goes to Arizona State. Now you're looking at a situation where Georgia doesn't go all out on NIL anyway. But if this were to happen, right? I want to preface this by saying if it happens, you get to look at your rival and say, we took the quarterback that you wanted, and like he was your guy, and we have him now. However, Florida fans, I can guarantee you, are going to pull this. But we have Lagway, and they might be right about that. But it still doesn't make it any less funny to me.
Right.
That we would pick up Rashada, that you wouldn't have had Lagway because you would have had Rashada.
Exactly.
But no, in all seriousness though, too. So obviously, like, Keon kind of did mention this, and Georgia and Kirby said this before in conferences, so it's no surprise. He wants 4 scholarship quarterbacks, and obviously, Keon said we're at 3. Also, right, I think it's important to bring in someone, right, that has some experience, that's a good quarterback. You don't want to just fill a body in there, right? Kirby and the staff is not going to do that. You want to make sure that, this is a long-term play, because if I'm not mistaken, he'll have 4 years of eligibility. So kind of looking ahead for this specifically, you look at next year where you've got a guy in Gunnar Stockton. You got Jaden Rashada, Ryan Puglisi, Ryan Montgomery, and you just let them go. And I would assume you're probably looking at Rashada versus Stockton. Wouldn't necessarily be opposed to that. Dan, I'm going to bring it to you. What are your thoughts on the whole situation with the Rashada and Georgia talk?
Well, I think one of the biggest things that you have to point out is that every quarterback in that room knew the minute that Brock left that they were going to add somebody. So everybody that's still on this roster, everybody that's committing to this roster has been told up front that another quarterback is coming. That's not a secret. That's not backdoor deals. That's public knowledge. Like they're on record that they were going to bring in a fourth roster scholarship quarterback. So that we're not speaking out of school, stealing anybody's content or anything like that. Everybody knew another quarterback was coming in. And one of the things that I've always appreciated about Georgia is they're going to try to go get the very best player at every position. Quarterback, obviously a very important position. Why would you take less? Why would you just to make somebody's feelings not get hurt? Like, hell no. Like, dude, like every part of the roster has to be built as strong as possible. So if they have evaluated that Dylan Rashada is the best available quarterback, which I'm not saying he is, I'm not saying he isn't. Do I know a hell of a lot about his game? No, I honestly don't. But if he's the very best for us to go get, then by all means go get his ass. And then also Montgomery knew he was coming, so it's not like he's going to back. Like if Rashada commits tomorrow and ends up at Georgia next week or whatever, how that timeline works, Montgomery's not going to back off his commitment because he already knew it was coming. Gunnar Stockton's not going to jump in the portal because somebody showed up. He already knew it was coming. Everybody knows it's coming. So, listen, Kirby's going to go get the very best available at every single position, and if you can't hang, then you're not meant to be at Georgia.
Yeah, I think to your point, the staff had made it known to that quarterback room that they were bringing somebody. Somebody was coming.
Sure, 100. That's my point. Yes.
So by this point, everyone's kind of, I guess for what it's worth, embraced the fact that there's more competition coming, and that's just what happens at Georgia.
Well, let me add one other thing too. They're all different, right? Like, what if I was a quarterback and I was in the room, right? What would concern me more than anything is if they brought in somebody who was exactly like me. Because if you brought in somebody who's exactly like me, what you're telling me is I'm not good enough, right? Now, if you bring in somebody who's a little bit different, then you're like, all right, I understand. It makes sense. Like, look at Carson, look at Gunner. There is nothing about their games that are the same.
Literally nothing.
Not a damn thing.
Literally nothing.
The only thing is they pass the ball.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and then also I think the biggest factor that we're completely omitting is the fact that we haven't got to see Puglisi at all.
Yeah.
I think that's a huge, because if he had been healthy, obviously he's going to be behind Gunner because Gunner's had a 2-year head start on him. But all the talk, all the people who have really seen that guy play really, 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 really like him. And if he's as good as they say, yeah, it might be his job next year. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously with this situation, it's an ongoing one. I don't expect Georgia to be the only school that he gets, entertains. Making quick work though. Scheduled a visit for Monday. I mean, you kind of like seeing that, right? Like the initial interest, setting up a visit, stuff like that.
Yeah, I love the fact that Georgia is taking the initiative.
Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that. Yeah, other than that, though, I know, Dan, you said you hadn't really got to see it. I think what Rashad is best at really is the deep ball. I think his work comes from the short intermediate timing routes. And I think Mike Bobo is the person to do that, help him develop that. So
listen, I know he doesn't suck. So, I mean, he's on
he's got some juice in his arm for sure.
I will say this. As much as I've seen about DJ Lagway, and I know we love to shit on Florida, that's like one of our favorite pastimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kid, he's pretty good, man. DJ Lagway's pretty good.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
That note gonna hit different. If he pops that glory, oh buddy.
Yep.
Other than that though, boys, been a Been a heavy loaded show.
Mm-hmm.
Got our thoughts about G-Day. I thought it did really well. Now we wait. Got to wait, man, till what? August for football.
Oh, can I mention one other thing about G that I completely forgot?
Go ahead.
So we were talking about the offense, right? Well, Mike Bobo last year was his first opportunity to run this offense. The one thing that he didn't have that Monken had the year before was a James Cook, right? James Cook is the gadget guy that you could use many different ways, line up a lot of different areas. That's the one thing that I didn't think that Mike Bobo had at his disposal last year. I think we saw some guys catch out of the backfield, but I am really interested to see if they can use Trevor Etienne in a lot of the same ways as James Cook. Now, listen, I know he can run the football, right? But James Cook can too. And I'm interested to see how, when we're really calling plays for real, like how they line him all over the field. I am excited to see that. That's the one thing we didn't get a chance to see because obviously it's spring game. That is the one thing I'm most excited to see about the fall is how we can deploy Travis Etienne.
Yeah, well, I think we did hit him with a wheel route, which showed me that, hey man, not only is he good out the backfield, boy, you get him in space, problem. Okay, big one. So yeah, I'm definitely with you on that. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I was just ecstatic with G-Day. I mean, I should maybe let me take that back. I was pleased with it. Ecstatic is flawless, which you're never going to get. So I'll take that back. I would say I was ecstatic about that defense, though. So, other than that, boys, let's wrap this thing up. Like I said, we talked G-Day. Ryan Montgomery, welcome to Dog Nation. And Jaden Rashada, come on down to Athens. That's all I'll say.
Absolutely.
Make sure to, yeah, I know, right? Speed limits. With that being said, hey, DGDpodcast.com. Go shop our sponsors, Alumni Hall, Apotheos Roastery. Get yourself some licensed Nike, Cutter, licensed Georgia apparel at Alumni Hall. Use our website. 8% goes to the collective if you shop online.
Donate to the Classic City Collective.
Mm-hmm.
Please donate. Y'all love these athletes. This naming game that we're playing today, this NIL game today, costs money.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Make sure you get yourself some coffee to start your mornings as well with Apotheos, guys. Listen, I can't tell you in my opinion, there's not a bad batch of coffee in that a whole selection. But use code CCC at checkout and you can get yourself some free shipping and 20% of each bag of coffee that you get or the K-Cups. 20% will get sent to the collective on behalf of the Apotheos. So listen, you have other options if you don't want to donate true financials. Get you some gear, get you some coffee, support the dogs in the process. With that being said, Dan, where can people follow you, my man?
You can follow me at Twitter. It's at DanKiley3. And then on my Instagram, hold on, let me look at my Instagram because I can't never remember what the hell my Instagram is. I don't even know. I don't even know how you find it. I don't know. I'm on Instagram. It's at Dan_Kiley3. So that's my Instagram is Dan_Kiley3, and then my Twitter is at DanKiley3. There you go.
There you go. All right, boys. With that being said, we're gonna wrap this thing up. We will catch y'all next time. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.